And good morning and welcome to another edition, we should say, of our ECRTCC get-together, which stands for East Central Regional Transportation Coordinating Council. And Karen Onan has been helping us with that along the way, and there's so much involved underneath that heading. And so this morning we are welcoming back an interview guest that we had actually a couple weeks ago.
Bob Voss, who is my boss at the East Central Regional Development Commission, and we call that the ECRDC. Just to get a little bit of information to those who didn't hear us a couple weeks ago about what the ECRDC is and talk a little bit about the structure of the RDC.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. The structure of the RDC is set out by state statute. There's the Regional Development Act of 1969 lists who can be on our governing board. And as I mentioned here a couple weeks ago, consists of 24 members. We have 5 of those are county commissioners, 1 from each county. We have a municipal rep, and usually that's a mayor or a city council member from a city in each of our 5 counties. So there's 5 representatives there. We have a township representative also from each of the 5 counties. And then public interest reps, and that's kind of at the pleasure of the RDC board who they want to have based on, their priorities, if it's economic development or transportation, that kind of thing. But we have 5 members there from each of the 5 counties.
So that'd be 20.
That's 20. And then we have 2 school board representatives, one from generally the northern part of our region and one from the southern part of our region. And then we have a tribal representative because the statute says in regions where there's a tribal unit of government that you have to have a representative there. So we have 1 seat from the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe. And then most recently, one of our cities, the statute calls for an additional member in cities over 10,000. So in the last census, the city of North Branch went over 10,000. So we have a representative from the city of North Branch that sits on our board as well. So.
Okay, well, if there's another city that happens to grow to be over 10,000, would then they get to have a representative? And so there'd be 25.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, we could just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, the region's growing. So, yeah.
Well, that's a lot of people making decisions.
Yeah. And there's committees, too. I mean, that larger board meets 6 times a year, and there's committees that meet in between in our programs that we have. There's usually 1 or 2 of the commission members, board members, that serve on those committees as well, so that there's good continuity between the committees and the larger board.
Right.
Yeah.
And then is there a list of those folks that are on the RDC board on our website?
That's right. Yeah. If you go to our website, you can see we try to keep that current. Of course, as elections occur and turnover occurs, but I don't want to say it's perfect because there are times where things happen quickly.
Yeah. So ECRDC.org.
That's correct.
Is the website for if you're looking for information. Yeah. What else did you want to bring up?
Well, just a couple of new initiatives in the last couple of years, of course, with the pandemic and everything, we've had some additional resources that have come our way from the Federal Economic Development Administration. We have a CARES Act revolving loan program that was established. And then CARES, for the listeners that don't know what CARES stands for, that's Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act that was passed a couple of years ago. But they wanted to get some funding out to help the communities. But part of that was a revolving loan fund, and we established $500,000 revolving loan fund for small businesses that were suffering as a result of the pandemic.
What is a revolving loan?
Well, the banks will work closely with small businesses, but they have to be careful oftentimes with the risk that's involved. And this is a fund that gets at the gap. So, for example, if a business needs $100,000 and the bank says, well, we'll loan you 70, and the business owner might have $10,000 in their pocket. Well, there's $20,000 there that they need to get the deal done. That's where we come in. It's called a gap. It's kind of designed to take some of the risk out of the financing package so that everybody's a little more comfortable in getting the deal done. It seems to be very useful.
And there's money coming now for more.
That's right. Under the ARPA funding now, we applied to EDA for another pot of money because the program's been so popular that we're going to get another $500,000 revolving loan fund. And I know that doesn't sound a lot, but when you do it in $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 increments, it can spread. And then there's repayments that come in, and then we can revolve that out again.
So, if anybody is interested in learning more about that, where would they go for more information?
I would contact Jordan Zeller or Michelle Thomas from our office. Phone number there is 320-679-4065, or they can go to the website. Jordan or Michelle's email address is on there as well.
Okay.
So, or they can contact me. I like talking with people too.
Yes, again, it's ECRDC.org. I want to sort of get into where the RTCC sits in here.
In the last interview where we talked about our mission statement, it speaks to leadership and creative problem solving for regional problems. The whole idea of transportation in our region is one that transcends boundaries.
Literally.
Literally, yeah. We had previously been involved in conducting the local human services transportation coordination plans. And Karen, you're working on one of those right now with our groups, and I think this will be our fourth iteration of that planning effort. Well, in one of our previous planning efforts, they called out the need for having a group that could convene and meet as a council to help find creative solutions to transit problems in our region.
Yeah,
So,
and regional issues, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, they're different in different regions, the problems, issues.
that's right. So this fits squarely within our mission statement. MnDOT was looking for governance structure that could accommodate it, and our governance structure is representative of the region and works very well for this kind of purpose. So, along with the fact that we were able to provide financial backing for the program, an administrative structure to help, we'll just call it a good home for the program.
It really
Yeah.
is. And it wasn't something that MnDOT came up with.
Yeah.
The whole idea of having them run under an RDC, the East Central Regional Transportation Coordinating Council, is run under the umbrella of the Regional Development Commission. So all those commissioners that are on the RDC oversee our project. They all have an interest in it, and they're all from all over the region. It's a perfect fit.
It is.
And like I said, MnDOT didn't come up with that one. I think we had something to do with that, and I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, that was a good marriage there. And, the other thing I like about it, Karen, is the fact that it's a good cross with our other programs. With the economic development piece, as small transportation providers need help with business financing, or even our work with the communities that are potential stops for the Northern Lights Express passenger rail and some of the economic benefits that surround some of those station stops. It doesn't just stop at transportation. There's a kind of a ripple effect that
And that's
goes
a
on.
really exciting component to this. And that's why I am so on board with this train, because sorry.
A lot of puns in this business.
Yes, indeed. I was just going to say, but stay on track, Karen.
Yeah,
Just
the train will come up into our region and come into Cambridge.
Yeah.
And that Cambridge stop has got a large parking lot. It's got a large area, kind of I don't know if you want to call it a strip mall, but it's kind of like that. And there's businesses in there that could really flourish from having the train stop there, and then us bringing that into being a transportation hub where you'd have, as they say, modalities of transportation, such as you could have segways, those little rider things, bikes available. You could have your volunteer drivers. You could have your buses. You could have your lifts, where they would convene in that area, and the train would stop there. You could get off, and you could do walking trails. It would help broaden so much of the economics in that area, that city. And it's going to stop in Hinckley as well, which is good for the casino, which is good for the band, and all of the same things again as you saw in Cambridge. Sandstone has an industrial park up there. Now, it's not slated to stop in Sandstone yet, but as it goes along here, things can morph and change and grow, and would be so beneficial. It's so exciting to think about. Granted, it might not happen in a year, or it may take a little bit of time, unfortunately. And I get anxious about that because I want it to happen yesterday. But in any case, the RTCC is under the heading of the RDC. And we also are working on the Local Human Services Transit Coordination Plan, which is every 5 years, like you mentioned. The first year was 2006, and then 2011, 2017, and now 2022. We really want public input on we call it the LCP, because it's just too long to say otherwise. So if anybody is interested in giving us your opinion on where you feel transportation needs are, or what kind of strategies and plans you may think of, we're interested in hearing what you have to say. All you need to do is, we have another website, and I've mentioned this before, but it's eastcentraltransit.com. Okay, eastcentraltransit.com. And my contact information is there. You can shoot me an email. I want to know what you are thinking. We've had some meetings with the public. We have had meetings with the providers. We've had meetings with those folks that are involved in emergency preparedness and different organizations, and we are learning a lot. As you mentioned earlier, the RTCC, the Regional Transportation Coordinating Council, came out of the LCP plan in 2017. It was something that was found to be necessary, which then MnDOT built these RTCCs, or organized them, and got the funding from the Federal Transit Administration to work these programs all over the state. And so the LCPs now are being done by the RTCCs because it makes sense. All right, to just sort of finish up with this today, would you, Bob, mention some of the programs that the RDC has to offer?
Again, we talked about the economic development program and the revolving loan funds for small businesses. That's one aspect. The transportation planning piece, a lot of our local units of government contact us if they have projects that they feel might be seeking federal transportation dollars. There's a process for all of this. Cities under 5,000, for example, need to coordinate with their county engineers, but cities over 5,000 are municipal state aid cities, so they can apply directly for some of that. Also, any of our questions regarding the regional transportation coordinating councils would be directed to you, Karen, I guess through either our website or through our phone number.
Anybody can go onto the ECRDC.org website, and you'll get links to the RTCC. You'll find contact information for all of us. And then there is a specific website, too. It's additional website, I should say, just for the RTCC transportation. There's a directory in there of what's available and all of the phone numbers and websites. And that is eastcentraltransit.com.
I just want to emphasize the website and getting a hold of us with specific questions where we have more time to go in more detail.
And this is what we're here for, to answer questions, to be involved with the region and the folks in the region, and we do enjoy hearing from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bob Voss, again, 21 years working here, and we so appreciate everything you're doing and that you took time out to talk with us. And Karen, you keep on keeping on, my dear. And we appreciate your insight as well. And so, again, go to the website, give them a call if you have more questions. Otherwise, we will thank you too, and we will also thank MnDOT for partially funding this get-together.